Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to do the Mangatube Tag, which was created by Christy Liu, and then I was tagged by Manga Hoarder. Both channels will be in the description of the video. I'm just going to get right into it because I filmed this once already last night and I didn't like it, so we're just redoing it. So question number 1 is introduce yourself. So my name is Ethan, I live in Canada. I'm currently 24 years old, and yeah, I mean, kind of the key thing I like to let people know is that I am in Canada because a lot of my comments are, asking me, where do you buy your manga? And oh, you should purchase manga from this place. And a lot of places do not apply to me because the cost of importing manga to Canada on top of the already expensive Canadian prices of manga is just not worth it. And so all of the stores that a lot of Americans order from, or even some folks in the UK and whatnot, people are just constantly asking me where I buy my manga and giving me suggestions of where to purchase manga, which is nice, except none of them are worth it for me because of where I live. And so I purchase all of my new manga basically from Chapters or Indigo, which is our biggest retail bookstore in Canada. And then sometimes I purchase off Amazon if it's stuff that for some reason Indigo doesn't have. And then everything else is either given to me by people who know that I like manga, or I do a lot of thrift shopping when we're not in lockdown. So question number 2 is, when did you start reading manga? That would have been around 2005. I would have been around 9 years old. And it was a school library trip, and we were required to take out a book. And I was literally brand new to that city. I was brand new to that school. I had only been there a few days by the time this trip was happening. And so I was, we had just moved, we were still unpacking. I didn't really have a lot of time to read, so I didn't want to get a novel out. And so I found this book with a lot of pictures and was like, hey, let me try this. I don't remember 1,000% that it was Fruits Basket, but based on my memory of the color of the cover and the artwork, I am assuming it was a volume of Fruits Basket. One of the older Tokyo Pop ones. And I remember it wasn't volume 1. I read it backwards because I had never read manga. I didn't understand how to read it. I was also 9. And so I read it backwards all the way through and didn't understand what was happening. Realized by the time I got to what was actually the beginning of it that I had read it backwards, and then read it properly back again, but still didn't understand it because I didn't know who the characters were. I didn't know the story. It was very confusing. But it spurred an interest in me that, thankfully at the time my library in that city was extremely overwhelming amount of manga. And so it gave me an opportunity to read a ton of stuff without ever purchasing anything until years later. But yeah, it was around 2005 when I started reading manga. I had also been watching anime for years by that point. So I was familiar with the Japanese media kind of style of that, and I just didn't know manga existed until that library trip. Question number 3 is, what is your favorite genre? I read a lot of romance. I love romance stories. I love high school drama. Not just in manga, but I watch a lot of sitcoms and stuff. I just like that. It brings me joy. High school shenanigans just bring me joy. I really like gekiga and alternative manga a lot. I enjoy things that are different. I enjoy artwork that's different. I like anything bizarre. If I see something in a used bookstore that I've never heard of, I'm just going to pick it up. I read so many different genres, and I enjoy so many different genres. Political stuff, thrillers, mystery. I do like some action. The genres that I don't particularly like are historical fantasy. I don't really like fantasy a lot in general, unless it has overwhelming other sort of things that I really like to allow me to enjoy the story. But I really don't enjoy fantasy very much, and especially historical fantasy. I I don't particularly enjoy like overly sexualized harem kind of stuff. Like, it's just not my thing. The isekai stories, the monster girl stuff, like, it's not my thing. I appreciate other people like that kind of stuff. It's just not for me. I don't even bother to look at any of that stuff. Question number 4 is, how do you read manga? Mostly physically. I have just under 2,000 volumes in my collection. I really enjoy physical manga. I do read from my library when I can, but the library that in my current city is awful. They have barely any manga, and when they do have manga, they have random volumes of it, and they're all in horrible condition. Digitally, they only have a couple titles, which is unfortunate. And, you know, I found some random stuff there that I got lucky, and I was like, oh my god, they actually have the whole series. But for the most part, you know, even the stuff that they're collecting ongoing, like Attack on Titan, and like when Naruto was coming out, they were collecting it, that kind of stuff, they don't replace it when a volume gets misplaced or damaged beyond repair, and it happens so fast because of the demographic that's reading those books. They don't take care of them. And so literally I was trying to catch up with Fairy Tail and Attack on Titan, those series that I wasn't particularly interested in buying myself, but I wanted to read. And then you'd get stuck because randomly volume 40 something of Fairy Tail is missing, and then, you know, it was getting annoying because I couldn't actually keep up with any of the stories. So unfortunately, I don't use my library as much as I did in previous cities I lived in, which had great manga selections. I do read digital manga now. I didn't really before, but I got the Shonen Jump app in April-ish of last year, and I've been really enjoying that. Because it's introducing me to some of the shorter series are what I'm really enjoying on the app, the ones that don't have physical releases, or, you know, some of the newer stuff, like before Spy Family was being released physically, which I will pick up physically at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I was reading it on the app and really enjoying it, and like that's kind of stuff that I wouldn't have really checked out had I not read it first on the app. Astro Lost in Space. I read all of Assassination Classroom on the app because I knew I wanted to read it but didn't have the money to shell out for the 21 volumes at this point. So I was enjoying that. I bought the most recent Kodansha Humble Bundle with all the horror titles in October, and I've been really enjoying getting through those volumes. So I've opened my perspective a little bit to reading some digital manga because there's just titles out there that, you know, aren't released physically that I'm going to miss out on if I don't check them out digitally. But I predominantly read physical manga. Number 5 is your favorite manga. So I've talked about this one a few times. My favorite will change kind of day to day, but for some reason, when I was thinking about this question, and every time I'm asked this question, I can't get this series out of my head. I understand that it is not the best thing that's ever been written. I understand that it has problems, and that, you know, it's not like I can't let it go. And it's We Were There by Yuki Obata. This is the final volume, 16. There's just something about the character designs. I love the way that she draws hair and faces, and I just, like, there's something about this artwork that just has stuck with me. There's something about the story. It is a very heavy high school romance drama that does have a time skip that will take you into adulthood, so it's not just high school focused, but it's basically about this girl Nana who starts high school and meets the most, you know, popular, outgoing, not adorable, he's like seen as hot guy, Yano, who, you know, they start kind of getting interested in each other, but she kind of learns that he has some trauma that he has not dealt with, that he is trying to get over or pretend he doesn't care about or whatever. And so she kind of ends up taking on that trauma as well, his friends around him, his family, and it's a story about these teenagers who really are just dealing with grief and loss and guilt and depression and anxiety and all of these things that it's not like explicitly stated, but it's, these issues are clearly causing them distress, but they're teenagers and they don't know how to handle that. And then you watch as it takes them into adulthood, and how if you don't deal with a traumatic incident, if you don't deal with it head on and acknowledge that it happened and acknowledge your feelings about it, that it will carry with you, and that it will eat away at you until there's nothing left. And I find that I never stop thinking about these characters, and every time I read it, I've read it probably 8 or 9 times. Every time I read it, it just continues to like make my heart hurt in a way that's just like, the first time I read it, I hated Yano because he just is an asshole. But then, as I read it more and more and more, you really start to feel like this kid is suffering and nobody knows what to do. And, in turn, the people around him are suffering, and the adults in all of these kids' lives are making decisions that are heavily impacting these kids. And it's heartbreaking and beautiful, and I love the art, and I constantly read this, and now I want to reread it again. So yeah, We Were There is one that I just can't stop coming back to. Number 6 is, what type of videos do you make? I make monthly haul videos. I make Tuesdays and Fridays. I upload either a first impressions of the first couple volumes of a series or a full series review. They're all spoiler free, and I just give my thoughts on series as I read them. I do reread reviews of things that I've read multiple times and giving my thoughts on them after I've read them multiple times. I do alternative manga spotlights, which is basically just a review of an alternative manga that I've read, but I specifically, differentiate it because I want people to, learn more about alternative manga and maybe find something they never heard of. In terms of, plans for the future, I really would like to, or have been thinking about making review videos, or not reviews, but like when I reread a series that I've already made a review on, I want to actually make a video that is more of a discussion of the series, that is not spoiler free, that goes into more of the characters, the plot, the things that I really liked or really didn't like, that I just can't do in my regular review videos because I don't want to spoil things for people. So it would be more videos that are for people who've already read the series and want to like have a discussion in the comments or hear my thoughts on it more in depth. Or people who just like spoilers, I don't know. But if that's something that interests you, let me know, because I will make those videos if people are interested in that sort of content. And the thing with me, though, is I don't edit. I don't have time. I don't have the knowledge, the equipment, the wherewithal to edit videos. So, yeah, I just talk at the camera, and that's what I do. So I'm a bit more limited in the types of videos I can make, but that's fine with me because I make what I want, and hopefully other people enjoy it. Number 7 is, what do you hope people will get out of your channel? I hope that people find something they've never heard of, or that they, are on the fence about buying a series and they watch one of my reviews and it either sways them to purchase the series or, they realize it's not for them. I really hope that people are able to watch my videos and help them make a more informed decision about whether or not they want to purchase the series for themselves. Because I don't like to see people waste their money, and I, want to give people heads up about what series I'm enjoying and what I'm not enjoying, because I really review everything that I read. And so, I review it honestly and just give my thoughts right after I read it, and hopefully people find that to be helpful to them to make their own decisions. Number 8 is, what other hobbies do you have outside of manga? I have a lot. I love to bake because I have a sweet tooth. I do brownies and cakes and cookies and cinnamon rolls and various other things that just, I find recipes online and just go for it. And I've been really enjoying that. That's been about maybe 6 years or so that I've been baking a lot. I do cook as well, but not as often. I prefer baking. I started about 2-3 years ago making miniature dollhouses. I buy DIY kits and I customize them, or I've done a few completely from scratch using recycled materials. One of my current ongoing projects is just this little one. My sister bought me a shadow box, an empty one, and so I've started, I put wallpaper and a carpet and this paneling, and I made this little chair with a pillow. I'm probably going to do a TV, an old style TV or a clock or something on the wall, and then I'll put the frame back on it and put it up somewhere. This is one of the smaller projects I've ever done, but that's just an example of what I get up to. But I spend a lot of my time doing that, making the dollhouses. I love jigsaw puzzles. I have about 40 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles, and I can do a 1,000-piece puzzle by myself in about 2 days. I like solitary projects because most of my work and volunteer stuff is very community focused. I spend a lot of time with people, and so when I get home, I want to do things that are solitary and that I can really focus on. Number 9 is, what is next up on your to-read list? Message to Adolf, I'm currently trying to get through. I'm just not in the mood for a super dense series right now, but I do enjoy Osamu Tezuka, and I know I'm going to love the series. I'm just trying to make my way through it. And number 10 is, what are you looking for in other manga channels? I look for, I love watching hauls, I love watching review videos, anything that's showing me manga I'm watching because I want to learn about series that I've never heard of. I want to see what's coming out because I try to stay on top of that, but it doesn't always work that way. And so it's nice to, watch a bunch of different channels, and then someone will go and show like a BL title that I didn't know existed, and they're like, this just came in, I pre-ordered it, it just came in. I'm like, oh my god, what is that? And then I go and, add it to my wish list. But I basically subscribe to any manga channel I see, and then I unsubscribe to people as I get either bored because they're showing the same shonen action series every single video, or if they're just making content that I'm not interested in. I don't particularly like shopping vlogs or any videos that only have like music and the person's not speaking. I don't enjoy those because I typically watch manga videos when I'm falling asleep or when I'm getting up in the morning, and I don't have my glasses on. And so if you're not talking, I can't see what's on the screen, and therefore if it's just music, then I just listen to music rather than trying to watch a manga video. So if there's videos that are mixtures of the music and showing things and then the person's talking, I just do the 10-second skip repeatedly until I get to the person speaking. But yeah, I'm basically just looking for any video that you are talking about manga. I will, watch it, and I watch everything in double speed as well. So I usually have about 40 to 50 manga videos in my to watch playlist, and I just click on them double speed and just rip through them. And as people upload things, I add them to the to watch list, and it just is a continuous cycle. Number 11 is tag people. I will tag some folks in the description if I think that they haven't already been tagged, because tons of people have been tagged already. But there's a few channels that I don't think I've seen been tagged yet that I really enjoy, so I will do that. So take a look in the description to see if you're there, and if not, make the video anyway, because it is a fun way to get to know each other. And yeah, so that is all the questions. So thank you again to Christy Lou for creating the tag, and to Laura over at Manga Hoarder for tagging me. Yeah. And as always, if there's anything that you want me, any type of video you would like me to make, also, again, keeping in mind I don't edit my videos, please let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. Thanks for watching.